Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Detroit.
Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is presented by
Bell Tire.
It is another spectacular day for baseball here in the Pacific Northwest. Welcome to Safeco Field. Game 3 in this series featuring the Tigers and the Seattle Mariners. A check to the American League Central Division standings showing the Tigers a 5.5 game lead on Chicago. Hi again, everyone, and welcome to Tigers Baseball. Mario and Pemba alongside Rod Allen. We are glad to have you with us here for the series finale. Now, with a win today for the Tigers, they win the road trip, and as we know, Rod, coming out west is not an easy thing to do, so the Tigers certainly would take that.
You know, the Tigers played 4 grueling games in Oakland against a very good pitching staff and a gritty offense managed by Bob Melvin. To win 2 games there was a very tall task, but they were able to do so. And now to come here to Seattle, where they are also challenged as far as their pitching. They're very good. Seattle Tigers have done well, as you mentioned. They can go home above 500.
All right, Max Scherzer takes the mound today. What have you seen in Max in his last 2 starts? Because he had a 6-game winning streak going until the last 2.
Well, the opposing hitters are ambushing the fastball very early. They're making lots of contact against his fastball, because when you do make contact against a fastball, you don't have to look at Max's secondary pitches. His secondary pitches are tremendous. He's getting lots of swings and misses on the changeup and the slider, but they are making a lot of contact against his fastball. He needs to get back to spotting that fastball in a real good location, just like that, down and away from the right-hander. That will open up the corners for the changeup and also for the slider. Max also needs to mix in that curveball today against a lot of these left-handers that Lloyd McClendon has ran out there against him.
We'd like to talk about Robinson Cano, but we can't. He's out of the lineup again today. So we'll talk about the Mariners as a whole. It's been since 2001 that they've been in the postseason. Lloyd McClendon trying to change the culture around here.
Well, for the first time in a long, long time, they feel like they have that leader in their clubhouse once again. That's back when Lou Piniella was managing their club back in 2001. Ichiro Suzuki had just come stateside. He was a Rookie of the Year, also the MVP that year. That's the last time they've been to the postseason. Right now, they've got some really, really good pitching, but they really don't have the offensive pieces to compete.
All right, Tigers wrapping up a series here in Seattle. After a short break, we'll send you back to the Call Sam Studios, check in with Lindsey Hayes. But coming up in this one here this afternoon, Miguel Cabrera's had a big series. He has homered in each of the first 2. Why don't we make it 3 straight? Tigers M's. Game 3 next.
how I take my initial step back. I thought I'm getting a little bit too much side to side and causing some things to, kind of flare off. So I've taken my first step. I'm working on taking it smaller so I'm more compact. I think if I'm more compact, everything's going to work better. So I'm anxious to get back out there, actually.
Second baseman, number 3, Ian Kinsler.
The Tigers and the Mariners getting set to wrap up this 3-game weekend set here at Safeco Field, and the Tigers hoping for 2 out of 3 here to wrap up the road trip on a positive note. And as you can see, the roof is open here at Safeco. An absolutely stunning day for baseball in the Great Northwest. Here is the Tigers starting lineup presented by the Southeast Michigan Ford dealers today. Rajay Davis will lead off. He'll play in left field, followed by Ian Kinsler at second base. Miguel Cabrera on the current road trip, well, he's at 409. Victor DHing, then Torrey Hunter in right field. Jackson is in center. And the bottom 3 today of Castellanos, Brian Holiday catching, and Danny Wirth, he's playing shortstop. And they are facing the left-handed offerings of Roenis Elias.
Elias had a really good spring training for the Seattle Mariners, opened the eyes of the staff, of the pitching staff, and that's why he made their team. He pitched in Double-A last year, 3-4 record, fastball anywhere from 89 to 91. Real good curveball, and he also has a changeup, part of his 3-pitch mix. Let's take a look at the starting defensive alignment. And for the Seattle Mariners this afternoon, it is always brought to you by Tim Hortons. They have Ackley in left field. He has not committed a miscue out there in 58 games so far. Jones in center, Saunders back out there in right, Bloomquist at second, and a couple of knocks in last night's game. Miller, Seager, Smoke round out the infield, and Zunino is their catcher this afternoon.
Well, the Tigers have been absolutely lucky on this entire road trip in terms of field conditions. Today they're presented by Ace Hardware and the Scotts Company, and it's 63 degrees at game time today. Sun is shining, roof is open, and we are ready for baseball. The Tigers and the Seattle Mariners wrapping up this series. Seattle winning it last night in a close one. The Tigers just could not get over the hump, and we'll see how they do today against the left-hander Elias. Tigers at 31-21. June is upon us, and we'll see if the Tigers can start June on a positive note. They finished May with a record of 17-12. Rajai Davis at 296 stands in, 4 home runs. He has knocked in 17 this year. A little bit of a different look to the lineup today with Davis up to the leadoff spot and then Kinsler batting second. Elias is ready to go to work, and so are we. Davis digs in, and the first pitch of today's ball game is on the way. And it's in there for a strike, 0-1.
That is one thing they say about Elias. He's not afraid to throw his fastball. He will top out at about 92, but he will also come inside with good fastballs.
Lifted back out of play.
Wally Joyner told me before the game that his curveball is his best pitch, but very seldom does he throw it for strikes. So the Tigers hitters, they have a tall task this afternoon of laying off the curveball.
And a bouncing ball hit slowly toward third. Charging there with the backhand. Seager's throw is in time. What a play.
Outstanding play by Seager. Do or die fashion. If he tries to field this baseball the more conventional way, using the glove and then transferring to the hand, he does not get Rajai Davis, but he simply grabs it with the bare hand and flips it across the diamond to get Rajai.
It was going to take a perfect play by Seager to throw out the speedy runner, and Seager gets it done. One gone. That'll bring up Ian Kinsler batting in the 2 spot today. Ian has not had a good second half to the road trip. In fact, 1 for 9 in this series. Really the entire trip he has scuffled. That's fouled back out of play, but despite that, what a start to the year it's been for Ian.
Good baseball player. Ian plays very well on both sides of the ball. Good base runner. Good teammate too.
He finished the month of May with 22 runs scored. And he drives this one to center field, hit well. Jones on the move, and he'll track it down right in front of the wall. 2 up, 2 down for the Tigers here in the first.
There were 19 players that hailed from Cuba that were on opening day rosters at the beginning of this season, and Elias is one of those. And we're starting to see some really good Cuban-born players.
No doubt. They're making an impact. There's no question about that. Elias was pretty much unheralded when he came over from Cuba. He defected a couple of years ago. He was not highly sought after. The M's, though, saw him at a tryout camp. They were extremely impressed with what they saw, and, well, they signed him. Only the 3rd Cuban-born pitcher to pitch for the Mariners. Here's the 1-0 pitch. And Cabrera takes outside 2-0. Well, Miguel Cabrera is hitting .332. Homered in the ball game last night. He has homered in each of the first 2 games in the series. Elias with the 2-0 pitch. Wave and a miss, 2-1. Elias is a slender build. He's 6'1", 190. Out of Guantanamo, Cuba. 25 years of age. Now the 2-1. Foul straight back, 2-2.
We heard he'll do quite a bit of that today. Come inside with the fastball. Now that last fastball registered at 94, but he does not usually pitch at that velocity. When he does, they say his ball straightens out. And that was a straight fastball. He's got a little movement, and when he stays right around 89 to 91.
Here's the 2-2. Swing and a miss, struck him out.
Ooh, there's that hammer.
And a 1-2-3 inning for Roenis Elias. Here come the Mariners in the bottom of the first. Max Scherzer takes the hill today, and he's presented by Family Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
And Max's numbers still look really good, but he has been hit around quite a bit in his last 2 outings. He gave up combined 12 runs in his first 10 outings. He's also given up 12 runs in his last 2 outings for a total of 24. So he has clearly struggled the last 2 outings.
Andy Chavez will lead it off for the Seattle Mariners. They take their first swings against Max. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Chavez slaps it toward left. It is slicing away from Davis. Long run. Not going to get there. Up against the wall. Chavez is on his way to second. It's a leadoff double.
Max has struggled with his fastball lately, and the fastball command. Therefore, the opposing teams, they've hit that fastball with regularity, even though it registers in the mid-90s.
We'll bring up James Jones, who did not start in last night's game, but came on later in the contest. He started game 1. A couple of hits in the series. Showing bunt, and it's in for a strike. 0-1 on Jones, batting .284. He's been a spark for the Mariners since being called up earlier this year. Good speed, had power in the minor leagues as well. Whether or not that'll translate to the big league level, we'll wait and see. Chavez, good speed at second base, has led it off with a double. Here's the 0-1. Instead, he'll bluff back to second. Scherzer making his 12th start of this campaign, had won 6 in a row, and then the last 2 have resulted in defeats. Wave and a miss, and a big swing there by Jones. No balls and 2 strikes. Earlier, when he was just called up, Jones put together a 14-game hitting streak and really kind of took the big leagues by storm. He broke out very quickly since being called up in Tacoma. He sits safely in 18 of 21 starts this year for the M's. Now the 0-2. Down he goes with a swing and a miss, and Holiday will complete the strikeout. 1 away now. Here is the rest of the lineup for the Seattle Mariners, presented by the Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. You saw Chavez and Jones. Saunders hitting third. Smoke is at first base. Then you've got Seager, Zunino. The bottom 3 is Ackley, Miller, and Bloomquist, who had a big night last night, 2 out of 4 with a couple of RBIs.
And the opposition, left-handers or right-handers, when Max throws his slider, very seldom do they make contact. And that's just a nice job by Max, preventing Jones from doing his job. And that was beginning Chavez, who doubled to lead off the game, over to third with just 1 out.
Ball 1 inside to Michael Saunders.
Michael Saunders finally playing some good baseball for the M's. My good buddy Don Wakamatsu told me a few years back when he was managing the Seattle Mariners how high they were on Saunders, but he really hadn't performed all that well until this year.
Physically, he looks like he has all the skills. He has good size, has a nice, sweet left-handed stroke.
Yeah, that is what they look like.
Saunders in the series, 1 for 4. He has an RBI. Just finished up a really good month of May, where he batted .318 after getting off to a really slow start in April. Now Max with the 1-1. Bouncing ball foul down the first base line. 1-2 the count. Scherzer over the years has done well here at Safeco Field. 2-0 record. ERA a little bit over 2. It's been a good ballpark for him. Just a couple of starts. Tigers trying to win this series here today. They would take 2 out of 3 after splitting in Oakland if they can win here today. Here's the 1-2. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Already Max up to 95 with that last fastball. Well, you'll see him do that. You'll also see Verlander do that if you force them to, with runners in scoring position very early in the game. They don't like coming out throwing 95 miles an hour, but they will do it in the first inning if there's runners in scoring position.
Saunders stepping out, leadoff double by Chavez here in the first. 1 out later, Saunders trying to deliver the run. And the 2-2 driven toward left center field. That looks like trouble. If it gets down, it will. That'll get a run in. Saunders on his way to second, and he is sliding in with a double. And Seattle takes the early lead here this afternoon.
Max has given up 2 hits already, doubles to Chavez, also a double to Saunders, both on fastballs. And I had him looking up some numbers in the truck for me today, and this is what we came up with. The Max is getting swings and misses this year at a career low rate on his fastball. Just 16% are they swinging and missing the fastball. Last year, it was up around 24% that they swung and missed at his fastball. So Max not nearly having the effect this season with the fastball as he is with his secondary pitches.
It's quite a bit of difference. Smoke held up his swing, according to Mike Estabrook. 1 ball, no strikes on the cleanup man, Justin Smoke.
Something else with Max, he's getting career high swing and misses with his off-speed stuff. But the last 3 games, the opposing teams know that. They have not been allowing Max to get to his off-speed stuff. They've been jumping on his fastball.
1 ball, 1 strike.
Here's his changeup. He got a swing and miss there. He also got a swing and miss to Jones on a real good slider down and in. So we'll just kind of watch that as we go through this game. There's the numbers on his off-speed stuff.
Now Scherzer ready with the 1-1. Instead, back to second base he goes.
That is one of the things that the opposing hitters have always said about Max, Mario, the last couple of years. Because of the arm slot he throws from, low 3/4, he gets a lot of run on his fastball, and he's tough to pick up. They usually have a difficult time of hitting his heater.
He popped that one up. Shallow left field. The shortstop Worth is calling for it. And Danny hauls it in for the second out.
Let's take a look at the Tigers starting defensive alignment. Is always brought to you by Beaumont Health System. Davis, Jackson, Hunter in the outfield. Worth, Kinsler up the middle. Castellanos and Miggy on the corners. And Brian Holiday spelling Avila here today. The Tigers on this road trip have been catching the baseball very, very nicely. They have not committed an error in their last 5 games.
So Brian Holiday, who knows that many of his starts will come during day games after night games, getting the call here today. Catching Max Scherzer. Here is Kyle Seager standing in with 2 outs. A couple of 2-base hits here in the first inning. Seattle has the lead 1-0. And Seager looks at a strike, a high strike.
Max incorporating all of his pitches already here in the first inning. He's already thrown several sliders. He's thrown some good changeups, and that was a curveball right there to start off Kyle Seager.
He's had himself a good series, had 3 hits, including a home run. Seager takes inside. Seager has not been intimidated by the Tigers' top 2 pitchers, Verlander and Scherzer. In fact, he's 3 for 7 against Max, and now 5 for 10 against JV, including a home run that he hit against him in Game 1 of the series. The 1-1. 1-2 on Seager.
And they have yet to make contact with the off-speed pitches of Max Scherzer today. 2 hits on fastballs, swings and misses on his secondary stuff.
Here's the 1-2. Floater back at third, foul ball out of the reach of Castellanos. Flared it back into foul territory. Well, you can't draw it up any better in terms of weather. The lights are on here at the ballpark. Really don't need them, though. The roof is open. It's a Spectacular day in Seattle and a nice crowd here for the finale.
We had 4 great days in Oakland as well, so it's been a week of really good baseball weather.
1-2 on Seager. 33 RBIs this year for Seager. Trying to drive in a 2-out run. And Max just missed the outside corner there. 2-2. Waiting on deck is Mike Zunino. Double by Chavez started the inning. 1 out later, double by Saunders scored him. Fell tip and out of the glove of the catcher. Halladay couldn't hold on, and the count stays 2-2. Seattle, with their win last night, back to within 1 game of the 500 mark at 27-28. And really, Rod, they won that ball game last night without Cano and without several of their big left-handed batters.
Yeah, that lineup that they ran out there last night against the Tigers is one that you would not have thought the Tigers would have gotten defeated. But give Lloyd McClendon some credit. That's one thing this team will do, even though they are challenged offensively. Lloyd is going to have them playing hard.
High fly ball center field. Austin Jackson going back nearly to the warning track, and that will retire the side. Seattle takes the lead on a pair of doubles. Baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by Comerica Bank, a part of Detroit and the community since 1849. By Ram Trucks. Ram 1500 is Motor Trend's 2014 Truck of the Year and first ever back-to-back champion. And by Kraft individually wrapped cheese slices, always made with milk. Back here in Seattle on a gorgeous afternoon, the Mariners have taken a 1-0 lead on a couple of doubles against Max Scherzer. Elias back to work as we go to the bottom of the top of the second, and Victor Martinez will lead it off. Victor, Torrey Hunter, and then Austin Jackson against the Seattle left-hander. Martinez had his 7-game hitting streak ended in last night's ball game. Still 2 for 8 in the series. Had that big home run in game 1, which turned out to be the difference in the game.
And Victor nearly hit another one out late in last night's game.
Here's the 2-0. Outside, 3 balls and no strikes. Martinez now with 34 RBIs. And And he'll take his walk.
Now that may have been by design. Now once you get Miguel out, no need in messing with Martinez. Lloyd McClendon knows that Victor Martinez is not going to steal second base, so that might be their game plan today against the Tigers. If you don't have to face both of them, then don't pitch to them.
He'll bring up Torrey Hunter. And Torrey in the series 1 for 8. 275 overall this year for Hunter. 8 home runs. And there's a strike from Elias.
T. Hunter likes hitting in this ballpark. 389 in his last 9 contests. Played right here in Safeco Field.
When you played, were there just certain ballparks where you saw the ball better for whatever reason?
Yeah, it could be the lights. It could be whether you were playing on artificial surface or not, or teams challenged with their pitching staff. But I mean, there are always instances where you had good numbers against certain guys. Some of it played into the ballpark and your familiarity with those particular cities.
Torrey in the hold in the count. Elias had a 1-2-3 first inning. A leadoff walk here to Martinez in the second. Yeah, he went around. It looked like it at least. Down he goes. Second strikeout of the game for Elias. Our predictions for today's Fox Sports Detroit Tigers player of the game, presented by McDonald's frozen strawberry lemonade, only at McDonald's, are. I'm going with a bit of a dark horse today, Ron. I got Brian Holiday.
I got Austin Jackson waking up. I mean, he's hit some balls hard in this series. He finally got himself a double in last night's game. I think he's going to wake up here shortly.
And Trevor goes with Ian Kinsler this afternoon. Those are our selections. Austin Jackson takes strike 1 right at the knees on the outside corner.
You can't make a better pitch than that last pitch made by Elias. Firm fastball at 92.
Jackson at 244 has a double in the series, 1 for 8. The 0-1. Oh, it's 0-2 on Jackson.
They say one of the worst things you can do as a manager is give too much credit to a kid that has a good September or a kid that has a really good spring training. But Elias really opened the eyes of Lloyd McClendon and his staff in a game in spring training, pitching against the Los Angeles Angels and their A club. He pitched so well against the Angels that day that's when Lloyd McClendon and his staff, they started to think, you know what? He may just make our team. It's hard to develop really good pitchers, but that's exactly what Lloyd McClendon and his staff are thinking on Elias.
Well, he had that big game at Yankee Stadium earlier this year. He had a 10 strikeout game back on May 1st at Yankee Stadium. He was not intimidated there in the least. Ball high and away. .25 years old, Roenis Elias. Signed out of a tryout camp, which included Leonis Martin, who is the center fielder for the Texas Rangers. And Martin was the headliner in that tryout camp. But again, Seattle noticed Elias, and they signed him. Ball low, bounce again.
Yeah, that's the pitch the Tigers are going to try to lay off of today. Elias has a really good curveball. He throws it quite a bit to the right-handers and also to the left-handers. He struck Miggy out on one that was a tremendous pitch. A little easier said than done. Wally Joyner told me before the game, though.
Zunino flashing the signals.
Going inside with a fastball here.
For Jackson on this road trip, just a couple of hits, 2 for 21. Tigers down by a run early in this game. And the 3-2 swing and a miss. AJ on front, third strikeout for Elias.
He's already thrown a couple of really good changeups too. He threw Jackson a couple of changeups. Jackson swung through the first one early in the count, comes right back with another one to finish Austin out with good off-speed pitches.
Two down, and that'll bring up Nick Castellanos. Nick has one hit of the series, a double, and he looks at a strike as he disagrees with the call from Hunter Wendelstedt.
Yeah, so far the strategy by Zunino, the catcher, and Elias here in the second inning to walk Victor Martinez, not giving him anything to hit, and then go after the next three has worked.
That's in the air to shallow center field. Going to drop. Base hit. Castellanos with a 2-out single. 2 on and 2 out.
The catcher, number 50, Brian.
That'll bring up Brian Holiday. Tigers now have the tying run at second base with 2 away. Holiday is 0 for 4 on the road trip. Getting his second start. There's a strike on Holiday. Brian played his college ball at TCU, and of course his alma mater is involved in the NCAA tournament. TCU last night played a 22-inning game. Wow. They beat Sam Houston 3-2, and I would imagine Brian actually probably saw some of that after his game last night. Bouncer right back to the mound, and Elias is going to handle this one no trouble. Tigers threaten to leave a pair. They're going to walk in a single, and we are headed to the bottom of the second.
I made a little tweak on in how I take my initial step back. I thought I'm getting a little bit too much side to side and causing some things to kind of flare off. So I've taken my first step. I'm working on taking it smaller, so I'm more compact. I think if I'm more compact, everything's going to work better. So I'm anxious to get back out there actually.
And Scherzer back out there today for the Tigers as we go to the bottom of the second. It is 1-0 in favor of Seattle. Zunino, Ackley, and Miller, and it seems like the big league players are always making little tweaks, little adjustments. Scherzer is no different, even though he was absolutely dominant winning the Cy Young last year.
And Max is one that's always trying to get better. Even last year when he was going through just a tremendous season, and he was always tweaking something during his bullpen sessions.
Blown away.
And here's what Max is talking about as far as his delivery is concerned. The step back, it's just real short. And he says that keeps him compact. Once he finally decides to pick the foot up, it keeps him gathered. He's not so rotational with his upper part of his body. When one little thing is off, whether it be in your lower half or your upper half, it's going to affect the efficiency in which you locate your pitches toward home plate. So these guys that throw the ball at 95, 96 miles an hour, everything has to be in order for them to have the best possible chance to succeed. And that goes with hitting too.
Strike called, and he got him looking. Zunino is out of there.
See, the scouting report on Max is that he will throw you a breaking ball in that particular situation. And Zunino, they got caught looking for a breaking ball and took the fastball that he should have swung at.
The question is, who notices a little tweak like that, or who suggested? Is that Jeff Jones noticing it as he's pitching? Do they go back and look at film?
When you have a couple of rough outings, as Max has had his last couple, you're going to go back to the video and start to watch some things to see if you can detect why you're not having as much success. And it could be Max that figures it out. It could be Jeff. It could be Brad Ausmus. Brad Ausmus caught 18 years in the big league, so he watches these catchers and the pitchers very closely too, because that's something he had to do as a catcher.
1 ball, 1 strike on Dustin Ackley, who grounds it foul. 1-2 now on Ackley.
We talk about Jeff Jones quite often, and I think he doesn't get credit that he deserves to because the pitching staff is so good, but he is always picking up some flaws in guys' deliveries.
Here's the 1-2 delivery. Swing and a miss, and Ackley is out of there. A couple of strikeouts for Max, 2 gone.
And Max has great action on his changeup today. And that one just goes straight down. And you can see that delivery is pretty true right there. Nice balanced spot, allowing the arm to catch up. When that left landing foot hits the arms in a really good position.
Brad Miller is up there swinging. No balls and 1 strike. Miller at 158.
Lloyd McClendon, if you came to the ballpark today and you worked in the elevator, if you could hit left-handed, you were playing.
Didn't matter, did it?
He was looking for left-handers today.
The last night, not so much against the lefty Smiley.
He found as many righties as he could last night.
1-1 on Miller, who is 0 for 3 in the series. Played game 1 in the set. And a strike call. Well, you know that Lloyd's got to be chomping at the bit to get Robinson Cano back in their lineup. They certainly miss him.
No doubt about that. The best offensive second baseman in the game of baseball, and he's been that the last 5 years or so.
Missed it outside. Did you see those comments? It's been a few weeks now where Mariano Rivera said that if he had to pick 1 second baseman, it would be Pedroia and not his former teammate Cano.
Yeah, I did see that.
It raised some eyebrows.
They said he's trying to sell books, though. You always need that one little nugget, that real nice nugget to get people interested. But
3-2.
He may feel that way.
Well, I'm not sure you can go wrong with either guy. I mean, they're different players, but both very, very good players. Here's the full count pitch. Swing and a miss. And Max Scherzer strikes out the side. Here in the second, he has 4 punch-outs already in this game. Tigers baseball from Seattle today, presented by Bell Tire. Seattle here this afternoon. The M's on top, and it's time now for you to tweet your photo using hashtag Detroit Fan Photo. You'll have a chance to have it shown in an upcoming game broadcast brought to you by AT&T. So here come the Tigers now as we go to the top of the third, and it's fouled back out of play by Danny Wirth. We'll start things off here. Wirth and then Davis and then Kinsler facing the left-hander Elias. Gave up a walk and a single in the second, but no damage. There's a check swing grounded foul, and the count is 0-2 now on Danny.
Elias has done a very nice job with his fastball at 90 to 92, painting it on the outside part of the plate against a lot of these right-handers. The Tigers have ran out there against him this afternoon.
Swing and a miss. Wirth is gone, one away, and now Elias is matching Scherzer strikeout for strikeout. That's his fourth. Here's Rajay Davis. Ball one inside to Davis. Part of the reason for success early on in this game is first pitch strikes. It's lined right to the first baseman. Two gone. Elias went 7 of 9 in first pitch strikes.
And he probably could have thrown a strike to Victor Martinez if he wanted to, but he pitched around Victor.
Smoke was Johnny on the spot for that one. Here's Ian Kinsler. Fly to center field his first time up. Ian batting .308. And Elias is in a breaking ball low and in 1-0. Two balls, no strikes. Hit to third. Nice play there on the backhand. Seager. They'll throw him out. Nicely done. Hard hit ball. Elias has a 1-2-3 third. We'll go to the bottom of the third. Still 1-0 Seattle. Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by Arby's. Try Arby's Smokehouse Brisket Sandwich today. And by Bell Tire. Get the lowest tire price, period. Bell Tire. The Seattle Mariners lead 1-0 as we go to the bottom of the third. And Max Scherzer back to the hill. Scherzer here in the third will face Bloomquist. And back up to the top of the order, Chavez and Jones.
And Bloomquist had a couple of hits in last night's game and drove in 2 of the 3 runs the Mariners scored. Therefore, earned himself another start today against Max.
Bloomquist in the ball game last night at the top of the lineup had an RBI single in the second, RBI hit in the fourth.
And one of the things that Max has done throughout his big league career, and especially the last couple of years, he dominates right-handed batters.
Now the outer edge is strike. 1-2 the count. Scherzer struck out the side back in the second. He's got 4 strikeouts for the ball game. Here's the 1-2. Scherzer missing high with a fastball. 2-2 the count. Max was only 4 of 9 on first pitch strikes through the first go round in their lineup. Roll to third, and nice play by Castellanos. Off balance throw, not in time. It'll be an infield hit for Bloomquist. Let's go back to the studio now for a game break. Here's Justin White. Yeah, I'd say so. It's a good thing the Tigers are not seeing Burley, who is putting together really an unbelievable start to this year. Jays coming to town. That'll be an interesting series at Comerica Park. Be a lot of fun beginning on Tuesday. Here's Chavez.
The Blue Jays are playing a lot this year like they were supposed to play last year.
Right.
After all the deals and trades they made, John Gibbons, new manager. They did not have a good season, but they're playing well this year.
Chavez showing bunt, and he'll take a strike. 0-1. Two-base hit, run scored. It was back in the first inning. The Mariners put together a couple of doubles in that first to drive in a run.
Yeah, Chavez got a fastball up in the low 90s, up and away from him, and sliced it down in the left field corner, away from Rajay Davis.
Ball high.
Bloomquist over at first base has not stolen the bag this year, but running is a part of his game if he feels like he can get a good jump. Lloyd McClendon will allow him to try to steal a bag against this combination of Scherzer Holiday.
73% over his career. Strike called as Chavez was dancing out of the way.
You don't see that very often. A good fastball like that and a hitter jackknife out of the way, only to have the home plate umpire bring up the right hand. That's exactly what Hunter Wendelstedt did, and you saw the life on this fastball. He thought it was going to hit him in that right knee.
Here's the 1-2. Checked it. Holiday not given the appeal. Looked like he held up anyway. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Bloomquist at first. Scherzer holds the baseball in order to slow down the running game. More so than possessing a great pickoff move. Bounce again, and the count now goes 3-2.
Holiday doing a very nice job of blocking those pitches thrown by Max. And we touched on it last night. Mike Zunino, their catcher, won the Johnny Bench Award when he was in college, which signifies the best catcher in college that year. Brian Holiday also won that award when he was playing at TCU.
Runner going on 3-2, sliced to center field. That ball is going to get down, base hit. Bloomquist on his way to third base, and he is in there standing up. First and third, nobody out. Andy Chavez is 2 for 2 in this game.
Well, both of the hits have come on fastballs. That one 92 right down the middle in the 3-2 pitch and hits it right back through the box. And Bloomquist able to scamper over to third.
We'll bring up Jones now with nobody out. He struck out in the first inning. And Max has some work to do here in the third, already down by a run. In there, strike one, James Jones.
Castellanos, because Jones bunts the baseball and has real good speed, he's playing in rather close at the third base position, but runners on first and third, usually with nobody out. So, I mean, that hitter's not bunting for a base hit.
Right.
And I'd be shocked if the squeeze was on.
You would not normally see a squeeze play here, especially with young players play like that.
No, that's why I'm a little surprised that Castellanos is playing in so close. Now, he might just bunt for a base hit. I mean, I'm not saying he won't, but usually in this situation, this early in the game, runner on first and third, nobody out, that hitter's not looking to bunt. He's looking to hit something in the outfield.
Waving a miss. 0-2.
He struck Jones out. Jones first time up with a really good breaking ball down around the back foot of Jones. Max can simply go a few different ways now. He can go upstairs with a fastball for a swing and miss, or change up away, or breaking ball down and in. And if he locates it, he'll get himself another strikeout.
Here's the 0-2. 1-2 strikes on Jones.
Nice job there by Jones, laying off the same pitch he swung at to strike out in the first.
This will be the 50th pitch of the afternoon coming up from Scherzer. Chavez down at first base, had 2 hits in this game. He has set up another scoring opportunity for Seattle here in the third. And another toss this time. Scherzer just let it go. But Chavez back in there easily. Max doesn't always or often use that pickoff throw, does he?
No, he doesn't. He doesn't need it, really. And because he holds the ball so well when he comes to a set position, that the base runners have a very difficult time of gauging when he's going to throw the ball home. And therefore, they don't usually get good jumps when Max is on the mound.
2-2. Here are the numbers by inning for Max. Runner goes from first, and it's popped in the air. Shallow center field. Jackson coming in hard, and he is there. And Jones retired, 1 gone.
Right fielder, number 55,
Well, the Tigers, as we mentioned, are hosting those Toronto Blue Jays this Tuesday through Thursday at Comerica Park. Tickets are still available for that series. Visit Tigers.com or call 866-66-TIGER for more information.
Edwin Encarnacion homered again today in their game against the Kansas City Royals. How many home runs did he hit in the month of May?
16.
Oh, my goodness.
16 in 1 month. And he has started off June with a bang as well. Hitting 1 out today. All right, now if Max gets a ground ball here, he can get out of the inning. Saunders the batter.
It's going to have to be hit hard, and Saunders can run.
He had himself a double to drive in a run back in the first. And right now that is the only run of the game.
Bloomquist started things off with a single. Chavez then singled him to third. Pulled foul right down the first base line, and that one went right by Jerry Lane, the first base umpire. Owen won the count. Well, with the runner on third at less than 2 outs, Saunders, more times than not, has gotten it done. 7 of 8 to be exact. .22 RBIs on the year overall. Fouled straight back, and he finds himself in an 0-2 count now. Scherzer trying to battle back in this inning after striking out the side of the second. And the 0-2 up high, and Saunders would not go after it.
97 with that last fastball thrown by Max. That's the hardest fastball I've seen registered thrown by him in quite a while.
94, 95 is more than norm.
Now he's going to come back with a changeup. Oh my goodness.
He ate him up at 82 miles an hour.
Now when you see 97 on the previous pitch, and then you come back with a changeup out of the same window in the same arm slot, and the speed of the changeup, the differential is about 15 miles per hour, you're going to get swings and misses just like this. It's an amazing pitch.
It's going to bring up Justin Smoak, and it also brings us the Bernstein advantage pitcher-batter matchup. The advantage belongs to Scherzer. 1-for-11 Smoak against Scherzer in his career. He's batting here now with 2 outs, and Max 1 out away from getting out of this jam. Seattle today now 1-for-6 with men in scoring position. It'll take a 2-out hit from Smoak, who popped up his first time up. Max ready with the 1-0 pitch. Strike called on Smoak. 1-1. Back in 2010, Seattle had Cliff Lee, and they really had a good trading piece at that time. They wanted to restock their system, and Smoak was the centerpiece of that deal that came back the other way from Texas. Included a couple of other players, but Smoak was the one guy that they wanted in that deal, and he just has not been able to live up to the advanced billing. Hammered foul down the left field line. 1-2.
Unfortunately for Smoak, he left a place where it was fun to hit, and that was in Texas. And coming to this ballpark where you will see some power numbers, but he's not putting up the same kind of numbers he would have put up had he stayed in Texas. There's no question about that.
Cliff Lee at that time was 8-3 with an ERA in the low 2s. Very highly sought after by teams that were in the pennant race, including Texas. Here's the 1-2. Runner goes, and it's fouled back out of play. Chavez was on the move.
These are 3 of the best crowds I can remember being at the ballpark the last number of years we've come here. They've had 3 really nice crowds this weekend.
I would agree, and the weather certainly has played a big part in that. Bobblehead night also. The Cano bobblehead night last night. So it's 2-2 now on Justin Smoak. And really pretty good crowds in Oakland too. Memorial Day was a nice crowd.
That Oakland team is on the verge of sweeping the Angels right out of town.
Well, the Angels came in with a little bit of momentum, but Oakland serving notice that right now they're still the class of the West. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Runner goes again, ball high, throw down to second. They're going to try and score the run, relay to home, and they got him. Bloomquist is out. And Lloyd McClendon coming out. Hold everything, say the umpires. The grounds crew coming out to smooth out the field. We may get a challenge here. 2-4-2 on the putout. And now it looks like we may get a challenge. Bloomquist tried to come in from third base. And Holliday applied the tag. Well, we'll have to wait and see here.
Nice job by Danny Worth at the shortstop position. A short hop and then grabbing it cleanly, getting it back to Brian Holliday. And Holliday applying the tag to Bloomquist, at least momentarily thought by Hunter Wendelsat, the home plate umpire.
The question is, did he block the plate, which it appeared he did a pretty good job of. Brian had that foot planted there right in front of the plate, so did Bloomquist actually get to the dish? That's what they're trying to decide right now. Scherzer and the Tigers had left the field, but now they're back out pending the outcome of this call. And so back in New York, they're taking a look at several different angles of this play. That was not an easy play for Danny Worth.
Not at all.
He needed to pick that ball off the grass. This is a really good look here. Out. Not even close, and there's the out signal. So Lloyd McClendon will lose his challenge. That's it for Seattle. Scherzer gets out of the inning. It was first and third, nobody out, and Max able to pitch out of it on a really good play by Danny Worth, who cuts down the player at the plate. That'll end the inning. The Mariners still leading 1-0. They let a good scoring opportunity go by the wayside, though. And now Elias goes back to the mound. He is facing Miguel Cabrera here in the fourth inning, and a ball outside, 1-0. Max Scherzer threw 26 pitches in that third, but ends up escaping. Middle of the Tigers lineup coming up. You've got Cabrera, Martinez, Torrey Hunter. And for Miguel, he is 0 for 1 against Elias. He struck out in the first inning.
Yeah, Elias threw him an outstanding curveball that Miggy swung right over the top of. The best curveball Elias has thrown so far here today.
Missed low. 3-0. Tigers' best scoring chance was back in the second, a walk and a single, but with 2 outs, Holiday bounced out. Pitch. He's swinging and he lost it to shallow center field. Jones runs it down, 1 out.
Here's a couple of looks at that play and what Hunter Winglestant, the home plate umpire, was looking at. Not only were they looking at the tag, but they were also looking at whether he got to the plate or not. That's the definitive looks that we got from New York. And they don't consider him blocking the plate here. You can see the foot was in front of the plate. He wasn't blocking it, according to what they said in New York.
So apparently your body has to be in front of it to be considered blocking the plate, because his foot was clearly there before he had the baseball. But it was certainly a clean look, a really good definitive look there that we just showed you. Victor Martinez, the batter. And he looks at a strike, and that'll make the count 0-2 on Victor. Meanwhile, Miggy took a hack on a 3-0 pitch.
Yeah, he doesn't do it very often, but for whatever reason decided to do it in his last swing.
Victor Martinez came into this game batting .435 from the right side of the plate. .311 left-handed. Leading the league in hitting. That time he bounced one off his foot and or shin.
Looks like he might have got him on the inner left knee.
Not a good spot. And again, the 0-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Martinez. Elias has 4 strikeouts in this contest. Here's the 1-2 pitch. We'll get back into the seats, where the crowd is soaking up some sunshine today on a spectacular afternoon. Victor this year is showing added power. 13 home runs already this season. It's a team high, although Cabrera is gaining on him, though. Miggy now has 10. Elias trying to put him away. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Outside, 2-2. Hunter waiting on deck. Bouncer right back off the glove. He still might have a play. Quick throw is in time. The shortstop, Miller. On a 1-6-3, records the out.
I thought initially after Elias slowed this ball down off the bat of Martinez, he's going to have a chance to get a base hit. But a nice redirection of the body by Miller, who was headed up the middle. He grabs it on the backhand and fires off the right foot to get Victor at first base.
He got him by a full step. Hunter looks at a strike, 0-1. Tigers so far in this game have just 1 hit, the single by Castellanos in the second. That's it. Here's the 0-1 pitch. He move his feet. 1 ball, 1 strike.
I love this Elias kid, man. He grabs that ball. Garrett gets right back on top of the rubber. That's the one thing we heard about him today. He is not afraid.
Pretty impressive. And they told us you're going to love watching this guy pitch. Little chopper back to the mound. Elias will handle it himself. Hunter is out. It's going to be a 1-2-3 inning.
We told you earlier that Max not missing a lot of bats with his fastball this year. The percentage is way up on contact made against him. And they scored a run in the first inning on fastballs, and then Max went to the breaking ball. And the changeup, the slider, and the curveball simply sensational here today. They have not been able to make contact with those pitches.
So the Seattle Mariners take a 1-0 lead into the bottom of the 4th, and Max goes back to work with 5 strikeouts in his back pocket today.
Max only getting swings and misses on 16% of his fastballs so far this year. And that number down from 24% last year.
Justin Smoak will start things off. Smoak, then Seager, then Zunino. In the bottom of the 4th inning, Seattle got a run in the first, and so far it has stood up. Playing to pull on the infield against Smoak. Castellanos shifting into short right field from his third base position, and it's skying in the air to left center field. Austin Jackson camps under it. 1 pitch, 1 out. We'll bring up Kyle Seager. Seager also fly to center field, his only at bat. Scherzer came into this game with a little over 10 strikeouts per 9 innings, 10.3, which was good for 3rd in the American League in that category. And he's about halfway home with 5 strikeouts today. One-0 pitch is in there, a strike. Kyle Seager. He was college ball in North Carolina, where he was a teammate of Dustin Ackley's, who was also in the lineup today for Seattle. Here's the 1-1. That's in the air. Shallow left field. Somewhat difficult play. Danny Worth staring into the sunlight.
How about this, buddy? We have seen the replay implemented this year, and I don't think we're going to see confrontations like this confrontation that took place back in 2001 when Lloyd was managing the Pittsburgh Pirates anymore. I miss these days.
This was one of the best manager-umpire arguments ever.
It gets better.
Well, yeah, it wasn't so much the argument, it was this.
Yeah, he told the umpire, you're not going to use this first base bag, so I'm going to take it with me.
He just walked off the field with first base.
Classic snappage there by Lloyd McClendon.
Now, what if it had not popped out of the ground as easily as it did?
Oh, that would have been embarrassing if he wouldn't have been able to pick it up.
He'd have to bring out a shovel, try and dig it out. There's a strike call. Here he is walking off with the base. Look at the look on his face. I'll show you. Lloyd's a beauty.
Yes, he is. Those days are gone.
They are gone. You're not going to see that anymore. Well, you never know, I guess. Boston had a big blow-up a couple of days ago where they had, I think, 3 guys on their staff thrown out.
Yeah, that was crazy. Somebody's going to get hurt in that Tampa-Boston series. They need to slow that down.
Yeah, David Price hit a couple of batters. Did Big Poppy, I think. Here's the 0-2. Up and in. 1-2 on Mike Zunino.
I mean, the players have always been able to police themselves on the field. But when it starts to get personal and bad words are coming as a result of that, that's a little bit too much.
Driven to center. Jackson going back, and it's going to be an easy 1-2-3 inning for Max. 4 in the books here in Seattle. We go to the 5th. Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by the new Chevy Silverado light duty and heavy duty lineup, and by 5 Hour Energy. It helps those who, despite their own needs, put others first. Back here in Seattle, where it's 1-0 in favor of the Mariners, the final game in this series. The Tigers hoping to skip town here with 2 out of 3, come back home, start a homestand with the Blue Jays coming to town. Elias back to the hill now as Austin Jackson leads it off, and he looks at ball 1 outside.
This young kid has, well, actually he's not that young. I mean, he's 25 years old, but he has been as good as everything they said about him.
Missed the outside edge. 2-0 the count. 25 years old, native of Cuba. Of course, he's not going to be intimidated here because of the way in which he had to defect to the United States, like many of the Cuban-born players have to. There's a foul tip into the glove.
That's a great point. I saw a feature on him just a couple of days ago when we got to town, and it was talking about how he did defect from Cuba, and this is not pressure for the kids to defect from Cuba.
A 30-hour boat ride where you don't know what the future holds. That's a little bit of pressure right there, leaving your family and friends back home, knowing you can't go back. 2-2. Only wanted that one, didn't get it though. 3-2 on Jackson. Castellanos and Holiday to follow.
We'll see how much confidence he has in his secondary stuff here. Or if he's going to challenge Austin with a fastball. Austin's looking for a fastball. So we'll see what he's made out of here.
Got him, strike 3. Oh, man.
That's not right.
And he just kind of saunters off the mound.
That's not right.
He's got a little swagger to him.
This is not right.
Is it not right?
Not right.
Right at the belt. Think Jackson thought it might have been a little high?
Could have been, but Jackson also looking for a fastball, too. And that's the advantage of disrupting the hitter's timing. Sometimes they just can't pull the string.
Swing and a miss.
Well, I guess we'll get a chance to see why this Mariners pitching staff as a whole has the second best earned run average in the American League. They trail only the Oakland Athletics.
And they have a couple of guys out in Taijuan Walker and James Paxton,
and the Tigers didn't even see King Felix in this series, nor is Robinson Cano playing.
Those injuries may have given Elias a chance to get into the rotation. He's grabbed his spot. Oh, look out.
Well, he got a mean streak in him, too.
1-2.
He's going to wake the Tigers up, so what he's going to do.
Yeah, you get that feeling, don't you?
Yeah, he'll wake them up by start doing that stuff.
1-2 on Castellanos, who singled in his first at bat. Fought that one off back into the seats. Oakland 3.5 up on the Angels. That's what it looks like in the West. The Seattle Mariners are 6.5 out. Just kind of hanging around. They got off to a nice start this year. Then they lost 8 straight. It's been kind of an up and down season for them. Strike 3 called, and again Elias just kind of saunters off the mound with another strikeout. 6 of them now for the Seattle lefty.
He got Jackson with a curveball that was hanging. That was a much better curveball thrown by Elias to Castellanos. 2 of his 6 strikeouts, looking the last 2.
Holiday drills one down the left field line, but foul.
I don't blame Brian. First pitch fastball. If you get one, you may as well be swinging at it because you don't want to hit the changeup or the curveball here today of Elias. He seems to have really good command with those 2 pitches.
Holiday tapped back to the mound his first time up with runners at first and second. Tigers' best scoring chance. We'll shoot that one back up the middle into center. Holiday with a 2-out single. Now Danny Worth. Tigers had just their second hit of the game. The other was a single by Castellanos. Worth a strikeout victim, his first time up back in the 3rd. Strike 1.
One thing that Wally Joyner told me before the game about Elias is the fact that that breaking ball, even though it's a really good breaking ball, outstanding depth on that pitch, sometimes he's erratic with it, doesn't throw strikes with it. But today he's been throwing strikes with the curveball.
When Elias defected from Cuba, he initially went to Mexico, was playing in Monterrey, and then they had the tryout camp, which is where the Mariners saw him and signed him. Checked it. 2 balls and 1 strike. No, he went around. On the appeal, Jerry Lane says switch it up 1-2.
Yeah, it took a while for Hunter Wendelstedt to ask for the appeal. Jerry Lane was waiting to go up with that right hand. Another curveball buried in the dirt. And nice block by Zunino, the catcher.
Bouncing ball to 3rd. Deep behind the bag, Seager. That'll end the inning. No runs. 1 hit, 1 man left. Tigers baseball today presented by Bell Tire. Well, Max Scherzer will go to the bottom of the fifth inning, trailing this one 1-0 is our score. Scherzer in 6 starts against the M's, 2.70 ERA coming into this game today, and he's given up just the 1 run, but Elias has been a little bit better. Dustin Ackley is starting things off here in the 5th. Bouncing ball foul right by Andy Van Slyke and right into the glove, the ball girl down the right field line. Picking out a fan to hand a souvenir too. 1 ball, 1 strike. Fastball in, 2-1 now on Dustin Ackley. He is 0 for 5 in the series. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Right back up the middle into center. That's a leadoff single for Ackley. Hey, by the way, this Thursday, the Tigers taking on the Toronto Blue Jays at 108. The first 15,000 fans receive a free Max Scherzer 2013 Cy Young Award bobblehead. If you'd like tickets, call 866-66-TIGER or visit tigers.com. The eyes are different colors, so it's very authentic. Here's Brad Miller. Miller punched out back in the 2nd. Oh, that throw bounced into first base.
Yeah, he just lobbed it over there. It was very easy for Miggy to pick, though.
Ackley has a couple of steals this year. Scherzer allowed a run in the 1st inning on a leadoff double by Chavez and then a 2-base hit by Saunders. It was 1 batter later, and that made it 1-0, and so far it has remained a 1-0 game. Fouled away. Miller had a streak earlier this year of 0 for 19. Real difficult to bounce back from those and get that average up quickly. and it's been sub 200 as you look at the breakdown on Max. 75 now for Max. Miller came in batting $158. Runner goes, and it's fouled straight back. 0-2.
Yeah, that was a hit and run right there. Lloyd McClendon knowing that Max Scherzer can be very dominant, and as Max gets further into this game, he's going to get tougher. So Lloyd McClendon put the hit and run on to see if he can get the Tigers infielders moving, and some contact by the batter Miller.
He'll draw a throw. Seattle in this game with 5 hits. The Tigers have only 2. Now Miller will step out. Ooh, a much quicker move that time for Max, and he put that ball right in the bag, too. Clearly got back. Bloomquist will be next, and Scherzer tries to navigate through the bottom of the lineup here. 7, 8, 9. And the 0-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Scherzer had a really quick 9-pitch 4th inning in which he threw 7 strikes. Got him 1, 2, 3, but a leadoff single here in the 5th inning has slowed the pace as Scherzer tries to keep Ackley close at first base. Here's the 1-2, and he missed again. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Brad Miller.
Looked like on that last delivery, Max sped up his body, and the arm never caught up. Therefore, he left the breaking ball up and away. And from Ackley, to Miller. Ackley's on first base. That's why Brad Ausmus told me he's not a real fan of the slide step.
Swing and a miss. Miller is out of there. 6 strikeouts now for Max. It's funny because you can talk to pitching coaches about pitching and slide steps and all that stuff, but you can talk to Ausmus about that because when you catch for 18 years, you notice the nuances of what pitchers do.
You know, he said that it's a necessity for pitchers to use the slide step, but his dealings with pitchers that do it, they rush their body toward home plate. Therefore, the arm never catches up because they're trying to get the ball to home plate so quickly, concerned about that base runner. And so if you don't have to use it, don't use it.
Here's Bloomquist. 1 on, 1 out. Willie had a single back in the 3rd. It looked like a really good opportunity for Seattle to add to their lead. They had runners at 1st and 3rd, nobody out, but Scherzer came back to pitch out of that frame without anybody scoring. Pitch out, but nothing happening. Bloomquist with 3 hits in the series had a big night last night, knocking in a couple of runs. Spent the last 3 years over in the National League with Arizona. Runner goes. Oh, the throw is going to go almost into center field. It'll be a stolen base for Ackley.
I don't know if that was a straight steal or whether it was a hit and run, but it's a good time to run. Now, Max had just pitched out to Bloomquist, so you know he's not going to pitch out on back-to-back pitches. And a fastball swung right through that Holiday didn't have a good handle on. And Danny Wirth, the shortstop, did a nice job of making sure that ball didn't get in the outfield.
Yeah, and the initially you wondered what happened there, but you could tell that Holiday just did not have a grip. That'll put the runner in scoring position now. 1-1 on Bloomquist. Third stolen base of the year for Dustin Ackley. He was 3 out of 4 this season. Now the 1-1. 2-1 on Bloomquist. Top of the order waiting on deck, Andy Chavez. Scherzer had retired 5 straight prior to that single by Ackley. It's fouled straight back by Bloomquist. 2-2. This is start number 12 today for Max Scherzer. Really over the years had done good work against the West. 15-4 actually, dominant against the West. And he's doing well again here today. The offense, though, has not been able to do anything against Roenis Elias. Here's the 2-2. Soft line drive to right, base hit. That'll get the run in. Hunter can't get it. It'll roll by him. Bloomquist on his way to second. And he will pull in there, and Seattle has taken a 2-0 lead.
And Willie Bloomquist is the only right-handed batter going up against Max Scherzer and for Lloyd McClendon this afternoon, and he just doubled in his 3rd run of the series. He drove in 2 last night, 1 more here today. Fastball at 94 ripped the other way by Bloomquist. Nice job by Jackson backing it up.
Six hits in the ballgame now for Seattle, and Bloomquist has his 2nd double of the year, and what a series he has had. 2-0 ballgame now, and here's Chavez, and he looks at a strike. 0-1. Chavez had a big day, or is having a big day so far. Double, single. He scored a run back in the 1st. He was called up right before the start of this series, and he loops one back out of play. 2-0 Seattle here in the 5th. Four driven in now for Bloomquist in the series. And the 0-2. Little pop up right to the shortstop. He had Chavez on the front foot, and that is out number 2. And Bloomquist holding at second base. That'll bring up James Jones.
Here's our high-speed pitch brought to you by Xfinity. And Max has touched 97 miles an hour in this game with his fastball. He did that last half inning.
Jones trying to knock in a 2-out run. And he drives one into right field, base hit. He will do just that. Bloomquist comes around to score. It's a 2-out RBI hit by James Jones. I think he got it right off the end of the bat, and it just looped over the head of Ian Kinsler.
I think you're absolutely correct. It's a changeup thrown at 85 miles an hour. To Jones by Max, and the difference in this one in not getting the swings and misses he's gotten on the other ones, this one stays up in the strike zone.
It's a 2-run inning for Seattle. They have their 7th hit of the ball game now, and it's 3-0 M's.
And they're going to have to pay close attention to Jones. He'll be trying to get himself down in the scoring position.
Foul back by Saunders. Saunders delivered the RBI double back in the first. Scherzer has come in with a 2-game losing streak after winning 6 in a row. He's down 3-0 in this contest. There goes the runner in a big jump. Throw down to second base, not in time. Stolen base for James Jones.
Nothing against Brian Holiday this afternoon. Has not been given the time he needs to throw down to second base, but the Seattle Mariners, knowing that Avila not in the game, Avila one of the best throwers, down to second base this year for a catcher, and they're stealing quite a few bags.
Yeah, Avila 38%. Jones now is 6 out of 7 in stolen base opportunities. Here's the 1-1. Swing and a miss. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Ball high and away, and the count now is 2-2.
And Max still has really good velocity with his fastball. He's been in that 93 to 96 mile per hour range all afternoon.
Into shallow center field. Jackson on the move. He'll make the basket catch to end the inning. However, Seattle gets a couple of more runs. RBIs for Bloomquist and Jones. 5 in the books here at Safeco Field, and it's now 3-0 Seattle. Top of the 6th inning, as promised earlier in the game, we have the AT&T fan photo of the game. Tweet your photo to hashtag Detroit Fan Photo for a chance to be shown in an upcoming game broadcast. It is brought to you as always by AT&T. Well, the Tigers have some work to do now, and they will have the top of the lineup coming up here against Elias, who has handcuffed them today. He has 6 strikeouts. It'll be Davis, Kinsler, and Cabrera. And that's in there for a strike. Seattle got 1 in the first. They added 2 more in the 5th. Bloomquist an RBI double. I think I told you he's had 4 RBIs in the series. He has 3, but 4 hits has made it a very impressive series. So wave and a miss. 1-2.
Rajay is 0 for 2, 292 batting average. Ground out, line out. Fouled off. Seattle trying to win this series here against the Tigers without the services of Robinson Cano. At least he's not started this game. He's been bothered by a bruised hand.
I don't think there's any question that the Seattle Mariners have played in this series with a little bit more sense of urgency, knowing Lloyd McClendon has spent the last number of years as the Tigers hitting coach, and for them to win this series against the #1 team in the AL Central would be huge.
Here's what Robinson Cano has done since 2005 among second basemen, all second basemen. And he's a guy that, as that graphic indicated, really played every day. Hadn't missed too many games, but he's missed 4 straight now. For the first time since 2006, he's been out for 4 straight games. The story today is that young man, though, Roenis Elias, who has kept the Tigers right now off the board, only 2 hits. Popped up. The catcher Zunino discards the mask. Rajay's out, 1 gone. It's going to bring up Ian Kinsler. Fly ball and a ground out for Kinsler. Ball 1 high. Off the end of the bat, foul. And scoot back into the seats. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Coming into play today, Tigers batters are batting .229 on this road trip. In 4 games in Oakland against the best staff in the American League. And now the second best staff, at least by the numbers, combined .229. So I guess you knew hits would be at somewhat of a premium, even though the Tigers have the best offense as far as batting average in the American League.
Yet, despite those offensive numbers or lack thereof, a win today gives them a winning road trip. But they've got some ground to make up. Strike call.
Good pitching always beats good hitting, and the Tigers have had some good starts too, turned in by Verlander and Anibal Sanchez.
2-2 on Kinsler. Run around. Strike 3 called. Kinsler is out of there. Called out by home plate umpire Hunter Wendelstedt, despite the argument from Ian Kinsler. 7 strikeouts now for Elias. Hey, just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one to look forward to, Miller time later in today's game, brought to you by Miller Lite, and maybe, just maybe, Cabrera will give us our Miller Lite moment. He's standing in now with 2 outs. Miggy is 0 for 2 today. I don't know about you, Rob, but I don't know how you can not be impressed by this guy.
He's done very well today.
Elias has just been on point.
Not afraid with his fastball, 90 to 94. The curveball has been as good as advertised. But what we didn't hear about the changeup. He's thrown some good changeups today, too.
2-0.
If he decides to throw Miggy a fastball here, we might just get that Miller moment.
Strike called on the outer edge.
Well located fastball at 93 miles an hour, and that's the one thing he's done with good consistency today. Spotting that fastball in the corner outside to the righty. Even getting a little bit of the benefit of the doubt there from Hunter Wendelstedt.
He went 3-0 on Miggy in the last at bat, and Miggy swung on 3-0 and flied out. This time he'll send a soft ground ball to short. Miller has it there, and that is that.
A 1-2-3 inning for Roenis Elias. Seattle on top in this one. Series finale 3-0.
Here's our Comerica Bank game summary. The M's got on the board in the first inning. Doubles by Chavez and Saunders. They're number 1, number 3 hitters. They got some help. That was later in the game. Nice play by Danny Wirt to keep him off the board momentarily until the 5th inning when they scored a couple of more runs against Max Scherzer. They've hit every fastball that Max has gotten too much plate with. They've made some contact. And these hitters, Mariners are challenged offensively, but not so much today.
Yeah, you couldn't tell by the scoreboard. 7 hits. They've scored 3 times here, and Scherzer goes back to work in the bottom of the 6th inning. It'll be Justin Smoke, Kyle Seager, Mike Zunino. These are the 4, 5, and 6 hitters in Lloyd McClendon's lineup. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Inside, 2 balls, no strikes. Smoke, a pop up and a fly ball. High fly ball this time. Shallow left center. Jackson coming in. 1 away here in the bottom of the 6th. We'll bring up Kyle Seager. Seager is 0 for 2. Fly ball and a pop up. And despite being 0 for 2 in this game, Rod, he's, I think, somewhat of an underrated hitter who probably at this point is just starting to come into his own.
You know, a lot of people around baseball obviously do not know about Seager because the Mariners do not play on national television all that often because they have not played a good baseball. But if their record gets better, I think baseball fans across the country will get a chance to watch Seager. Got a lot of power. 8 home runs.
He just hits the ball hard.
And all 8 of his home runs are right here in this ballpark.
Here's the 1-0. Told you earlier that his brothers have been drafted professionally as well. One of his other brothers is in the Seattle system. Another was the first-round pick of the Dodgers. Now Max with the 1-1. 2 balls and 1 strike. Scherzer about to deliver his 100th pitch of the afternoon. And here it is. A little bit outside. 3-1. He had that 9-pitch 4th inning, which helped, but then he followed that up with a 23-pitch 5th. Another hard hit ball into right field, base hit. Seager is on with 1 out. Back to the studio we go. Game break time. Here's Justin White.
All right, J-Dub, thanks. Well, Chicago hoping that Seattle could finish off this win here, and they would be 4.5 back of Detroit. A lot of baseball to be played here today, though. The Tigers will try and get the bats going late in this contest. There's a ball low and inside to Mike Zunino.
And Tigers came in 5.5 games in front of the White Sox and didn't lose any ground last night, losing here to the Mariners. All the other teams that are chasing Detroit, they lost.
Zunino looks at a strike. Zunino had quite a career at Florida, and he really got to the big leagues very quickly. Didn't play much in the minor leagues. 96 games of minor league experience before they called him up last year. And he sends a ground ball back up the middle. Worth tags the bag. One, that'll be a double play. 6-3 to end the inning. And so Scherzer gives up the base hit, but gets the pitcher's best friend, a twin killing.
Roynes Elias has been on point here today. He struck out Miggy real early with a good breaking ball, and he really hasn't stopped there. He's had a good changeup. He's had a good firm fastball. He's gotten all the way up to 94 miles an hour. He stayed out of the heart of the plate there. Catcher Mike Zunino has been spectacular at leading the young rookie left-hander here today.
Well, here's a game summary. Scherzer has gone 6 innings, 8 hits, 3 runs allowed. He's thrown 104 pitches. Meanwhile, Elias has thrown just 82.
Matt's probably wondering where all that run support went that he was getting last year. He was getting over 7 runs per game last year.
Yeah, it's kind of disappeared. Bloomquist, 2 out of 4 last night, 2 out of 2 tonight, or today. So we'll see if the Tigers can get going here in the 7th inning. Martinez, Hunter, Jackson facing the lefty Roenis Elias. Elias hit a 1-2-3 6th. Walking a ground out today for Martinez. Missing high, 1-0. Just fouled back out of play. All right, we were talking over the last couple of nights about, as the month of May was winding down, who would win the player of the month in May, and there's some pretty good candidates going right now.
Yeah, there really is. Encarnacion, 16 home runs in the month, but he drove in 33. Miggy batting 380. He leads the group in RBIs. There are lots of people to choose from.
Ball high. What do you got? Who's your selection?
I would go Miggy. Yeah, but someone brought to my attention the fact that the Toronto Blue Jays have been on fire the month of May. So a lot of the hits that Encarnacion has gotten for them have propelled them to victory. So I had to think about it a little bit.
Yeah,
but I still got Miggy.
I did too, and the reason I've got Miggy is he's hitting 100 points higher than Encarnacion. And that's a major difference.
Yeah, he's hitting the ball all over the place.
Now, again, Encarnacion may have more home runs, but Miggy's right there in RBI. He's a much better batting average.
Well, you know what they say about the chicks, though.
They dig the long ball.
Yeah, they do.
At least they used to back in 1990 when that saying first came out. It's popped up. Shallow right field. Who wants it? It's going to be Saunders.
That was one of the funniest commercials ever with Tom Glavine and Greg Maddux.
One gone. Three 3-0 in favor of Seattle. Torrey Hunter is 0 for 2. Right back up the middle into center field.
They finally got a good swing at Elias.
Hey, fans, catch every strikeout, every game ender, every history-making moment on MLB Whip Around, weeknights at 10 p.m. Eastern on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. That Whip Around's a good show. If you haven't caught it yet, you need to. Everything you need to know going on around the game of Major League Baseball. Here's Austin Jackson. Fly ball right field, straight at Michael Saunders. 2 gone. And Hunter retreats. Going to bring up Castellanos. Only 3 hits today for Detroit, and Castellanos has one of those. He's singled back in the second. In for strike one. You know, you mentioned the good pitching that Seattle has had here. You got to give some of that credit to Zunino. I mean, he's still a young catcher, but they say that he is really advanced in terms of handling a staff, and has done a really good job of kind of guiding them through, even though he's only 23 years old.
And he only spent 96 games in the minor leagues. And we told you a couple of nights ago, if you were with us, that Zunino did not call his own pitches in college. So he's basically had 96 games of professional experience to really learn how to call a professional game. College coaches usually call every single pitch thrown by the collegiate athletes.
Well, it's one of the most underrated aspects of the game, in my opinion, the effect that a catcher will have on not only every single game, but an entire pitching staff. And, of course, the Tiger staff is much more of a veteran staff. But Avila does a great job. Zunino doing really good work here at a young age. There's a high fly ball left field. Dustin Ackley staring into the sky, and that is that for Detroit. Castellanos is out. We go to the stretch. Griffey Jr., and what a career he had, Rod. Had he not been injured as much as he had been, who knows what kind of numbers he would have put up.
Well, he was nicknamed the Kid, and he's the reason why a lot of kids across the country started wearing their hats backwards. He had a smile on his face. He enjoyed playing the game, and he will go down as one of the best center fielders of all time.
Here are the career numbers with Seattle in his team ranks and games played. 417 home runs, his first in Seattle history, and over 1,200 RBIs in an M's uniform. 10 All-Star game appearances. He had 13 total in his career. And so Griffey's number is still sported proudly here in the ballpark in Seattle. Safeco Field is the site here today. Max Scherzer going back to the mound as we go to the bottom of the 7th. And here are Max's numbers after 104 pitches today.
And good stat here today for Max. He has not gotten any run support whatsoever from his team. He has given up 3, but he has not walked anybody.
Fans, don't forget you can follow every Tigers game with MLB.com at bat on your favorite mobile phone or tablet. Get live look-ins, instant replays, scores, stats, audio, free MLB.tv game of the day, and a whole lot more. Download in the App Store or visit Tigers.com.
Max threw a total of 107 pitches 5 days ago in Oakland against the Athletics. No decision that day, even though he gave up 5 runs.
Dustin Ackley will lead it off. Ackley, Miller, Bloomquist, the bottom 3 facing Max. 3 runs on 8 hits today for Seattle. No runs, 3 hits for Detroit. Ackley single, a steal, and a run scored in this game, and he loops it foul back out of play.
Yeah, these Mariners have been very aggressive on first pitch fastballs all afternoon long. And Max's curveball, slider, and change have been very good. They haven't made much contact with those off-speed pitches.
Fastball missing outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Dustin Ackley now is 1 for 6 in the series. He started the 5th inning with a base hit, and that was the inning in which the Mariners got a couple of runs to make it a 3-0 game. Seattle got a run in the 1st inning. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Lifted in the air toward left. Davis, a couple of steps to his right. Ackley is out, 1 gone. There is action in the Detroit bullpen. That would be lefty Phil Koch beginning to heat up. Here's Brad Miller stepping in now for Seattle. It has been a tough day for Miller. Max has carved him up a couple of times. He struck him out in the 2nd, struck him out in the 5th. Ball 1 high. Driven. Right center field. That ball is hit well. Jackson looks up and is out of here. A solo home run for Brad Miller.
Brad Miller hitting 156.
And had struck out twice today.
He didn't miss that hanging breaking ball, though.
That is his 4th home run of the season. He got all of that one into the seats in right center field. Miller gets his 12th RBI, and Seattle adds another. It is a 4-0 ball game. In there for a strike. Bloomquist. They will appeal. He did not go. 2 more hits today for Bloomquist, plus an RBI. He has also scored a run. And now batting .351 career against the Tigers, which is highest among all active players. Here's the 1-1. We'll get back out of play. That home run by Miller was the 9th hit today for Seattle. They lead 4-0. Foul away. We were talking about how the 7 through 9 hitters really haven't done a whole lot for Lloyd McClendon. 208 batting average. On base percentage dead last. Today they are 4 for 8. A couple of runs scored, a homer, a double. And they were very good last night as well. Breaking ball is fouled away. Let's look at max by inning now as he has reached 115 pitches. This next pitch will be 116 to equal his season high. And it's a strike call. Bloomquist doesn't like it, but he's going to tote the bat back to the bench.
It's an 85-mile-per-hour slider, and I'm sure Bloomquist thought the ball was up in the strike zone, but it's not the first time we've seen this pitch called a strike by Hunter Wendelstedt.
It's going to be it for the right-hander Scherzer. In a 4-0 ball game, Brad Ausmus comes out and takes the baseball, so he equals his season high in pitches thrown. Wall side windows pitching change. Here comes Phil Koch, and we'll be back.
Let's take a look at the big boys' big play of the game. Back in the third inning, the Mariners tried to steal a run. The double steal was on with 2 outs. Danny Wirth came up, got a nice pick from Holiday, trying to throw the runner out at second. Bloomquist tried to score from third. Nice throw back by Wirth. Tag applied by Brian Holiday.
Scherzer done for the afternoon. He will hand the baseball over now to the bullpen with 2 outs in the 7th inning, down 4-0 in this game. And Max will leave the contest with 7 strikeouts. He'll turn things over now to Phil Koch.
First time Phil has been on the mound since May 26th. He's been in 15 games total this year prior to today. A 6.75 earned run average for Phil.
So Koch now will try and get the final out here in the 7th. It'll be Andy Chavez to stand in. Tigers today have been out hit 9-3 and outscored 4-0. Chavez has had a nice day. Single, double, run scored. Strike one. chopper slowly. First base side. It'll roll foul. 0-2 on Andy Chavez. Tigers return home after the ball game here today. They will have an off day tomorrow, coming back from the West Coast. Then it's back at it on Tuesday night with the Toronto Blue Jays coming in. Oh, 0-2 the count on Chavez. Bouncing ball to third, right off the glove of Castellanos, and Chavez is aboard. Looked like he tried to rush that play a little bit.
He got back on his heels. The ball had some spin to it, and he kind of moved laterally, did Castellanos. If he could do it all over again, he would simply take 1 or 2 steps to the right and backhand the ball. Once he reaches over that far in his body, it's very hard to make the play. That's a play where he probably should have backhanded it. And the fact that he's back on his heels didn't help.
First error of the ball game for either team. Here's James Jones. And now Koch stepping off. A run in on the home run by Brad Miller to make it 4-0. Chavez reaching on the air. Andy Chavez on base 3 times in this game, stretching his lead at first base. Fouled off. Jones was a really good two-way player in college. He played his college ball at Long Island University, which was close to his home. That's why he decided to go there. They say through mid-90s as he was not only an outfielder but a pitcher in college. Got a really good arm. He's added a dash of excitement to the Seattle lineup after his call-up from AAA Tacoma. Koch extremely preoccupied with Andy Chavez at first base. And now the catcher Holiday walking out to the mound. Fans, don't forget to join us again Tuesday. The Tigers are indeed heading home to take on the Blue Jays. Our coverage will begin at 6 p.m. with Tigers Live. Tigers Jays Tuesday at 6 right here on Fox Sports Detroit. No balls, 1 strike on James Jones. One and one. Tiger bullpen did a really good job in the ball game last night. It was a 1-run game. They did well to keep it close. Evan Reed 2 scoreless. Albuquerque a scoreless inning. Kroll came on. Tigers just could not get the bats going. And it's been the same story here today. They've been limited to just 3 hits.
Tigers also had a golden opportunity in that game last night. Runners on first and second with nobody out against their closer, and they couldn't get the bunt down. And Fernando Rodney went on to record the save.
Yeah, Fitz second and third, 1 out, a much different complexion to that inning.
Much different. I mean, he may have gotten out of it, but the fact still remains that they weren't able to execute late last night.
why Koch is paying so much attention to Endy Chavez. He has 101 career steals.
Well, he shouldn't pay too much attention to him because he's fallen behind this youngster, James Jones.
Two and one the count. Nope, he's going to go back to first base. Oh, the crowd's not liking this. They are not liking this. Good crowd here today, by the way. 31,407.
Just so you know, Brett Ausmus is relaying signs to the catcher, Brian Holiday, but he's not necessarily telling Phil Koch to throw over as much as he's thrown over. You can throw over without the manager telling you to do so.
Runner goes, and it's fouled away.
When a manager gives the throw-over sign to the pitcher, that's when he's thinking that possibly that base runner is going to be running. But the pitcher does have the luxury of throwing over there whenever he wants to.
Meanwhile, Jones waiting patiently on a 2-2 pitch. And here it is. Broken bat, base hit up the middle. Chavez will hold at second base, and for James Jones, his second hit today. Although he shattered his bat. 2 on, 2 out.
Phil Koch just really can't catch a break. It seems like every time he comes into the game, something crazy happens. He should be out of this inning, but he's not. And it just seems like every time he's out there, something wacky happens.
Here is Saunders trying to take advantage of it. Doubled in a run in the first inning. He is 1 for 3. 3 straight lefties. That's why Koch has come into the ball game here. And it's ball 1.
The one thing Phil should not do here is be preoccupied with Chavez at second base. If he wants to steal third base with 2 outs, let him go. But you need to focus on Saunders. He's done a very nice job with runners in scoring position lately.
Saunders had a really good month of May, hit .318 in May, and trying to pad their lead. Popped up foul, back out of play. Home run by Miller earlier in this inning made it 4-0, and they're looking to add some more. Koch replacing Scherzer. One is on the ground to second base. Kinsler has it there, and that'll end the threat. However, they do get a run on the Miller home run. 7 in the books here in Seattle. It's 4-0.
Drive of the game. And Brad Miller, in the last half inning against Max Scherzer, hit a home run in the right center field seats for his 4th home run of the season.
Well, the Tigers running out of outs, and they have some work to do now as we go to the top of the 8th inning. 4-0 in favor of Seattle. They have out-hit the Tigers today, 10-3. And it's been all Roenis Elias here this afternoon. He has just done a job on the Tigers offense. Got some changes for the Mariners. Michael Saunders will move to center field. Jones is out of the game. There's a ball outside to Brian Holiday starting things off, and Cole Gillespie is checked into the game now. He's in right. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Fouled away. 1 ball and 1 strike on Brian Holiday. Danny Worth next, and then Rajai Davis. We're in the 8th. Holiday had a single back in the 5th, one of the 3 Detroit hits in this game. Here's the 1-1. 2 balls and 1 strike. That floats in for a strike. Elias has thrown as many as 111 in a start. That was against Miami back in April.
And the next out that he gets in this game, it will be a career high in innings pitched. He has not gone above 7 innings yet.
There it is. He struck him out. That is the 8th strikeout of the afternoon for Elias. He's going to bring up Danny Worth with 1 out. 0 for 2 for Danny. Strikeout, ground out. Ball 1. Seattle trying to get back up to the 500 mark with a win here today. They came in at 27-28. That's in for a strike. Here's the 1-1. He hit it. The number 9 hitter is hit by the pitch. Danny's aboard now with 1 out.
It's the last thing he wanted to do there. He was trying to go inside, but he did not want to go in that far.
Farquhar and Beimel warming up in the bullpen for Seattle.
He's got a little bit of Danny's shirt.
Ground ball to third. This could be a double play. 5, 4, 3. How about that?
Everything going right for Elias today.
Roenis Elias is living large here this afternoon. He just got Davis to bounce into a 5-4-3. Sports Detroit is brought to you by Comerica Bank, a part of Detroit and the community since 1849. By your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. Visit ChevyDetroit.com. See why Chevy drives the Motor City. By Wallside Windows, the official window company of Fox Sports Detroit. And by AT&T, mobilizing your world. What a gorgeous day here in Seattle today. Pretty part of the country. But unfortunately, it's all Seattle. They lead 4-0. Tigers have managed only 3 hits in this contest. And Seattle will bat here in the bottom of the 8th. It'll be Smoke, Seager, and Zunino. Phil Koch still out there. He faced 3 batters in the 7th. He'll go to work here in the 8th. Justin Smoke with a pop-up, a fly-out, and another fly-out, 0 for 3. Fastball missing high. 1 ball, no strikes. Scherzer was lifted in the 7th inning. He went 6 2/3 today. Outside, 2 balls, no strikes. Tigers had that long flight home after the game today, Rod. I was reading where. Did you see what Seattle's travel is like this year?
I have not heard anything about it.
Of course, where they're located in the United States, their team travel is going to be really pretty tough.
Yeah, they have the longest trips in baseball, right?
Yeah, most years it's going to be bad. And this year, based on their schedule, they will travel 51,540 miles, which is going to be a major league high. So that is one disadvantage for playing up here in Seattle. Travel is tough.
Yeah, every time they get on the plane, they've got at least a 2-hour ride.
Even within the division. Here's the 2-1 pitch. It's low, 3 balls and 1 strike on Justin Smoke.
Yeah, that's one advantage of playing for the Tigers or broadcasting for the Tigers. You go over to Cleveland, you got a short trip to Minnie. Baltimore, not very far away. Kansas City, not that far away.
Yeah, even those West Coast teams, not far at all. We'll see 3-1. Swing and a miss. 3-2 on Smoke. Waiting on deck, Kyle Seager. Here's the 3-2, and it's ripped foul. Seattle got a run in the first. They led 1-0. They added 2 more in the 5th inning. Got another one in the 7th. But the story today is Ben Elias, their young left-hander, the 25-year-old left-hander, who's done marvelous work today against this Tigers offense. It's fouled back out of play. And really, I guess Tanaka is going to be the guy that everybody talks about among rookie pitchers in the American League. This kid's right up there.
Well, it was good to see him. And we heard a lot about him for sure. And to give up only 3 hits to this Tigers offense, he kept him off balance all afternoon. He topped out at 94. His curveball was tremendous.
And the 3-2. Swing and a miss. Smoke gets out of there. 1 gone.
96 with that last fastball thrown there by Phil Koch. Right by Justin Smoke.
High heat. Down he goes. And let's go down to the field now and check in with Trevor Thompson.
Well, guys, you just made a point about talking about how tough Elias was today. We'll find out from the Tiger hitters just how tough he was on Tigers Live coming up after the show. We'll also talk to Brad Ausmus about the trip as a whole, and we'll get with Max Scherzer and find out what was up with his start today. All that coming up on Tigers Live immediately after the ball game. But back up to you for the rest of the game for now.
All right, Trev, thanks. He'll be working the clubhouse after the ball game today. Kyle Seager stands in. Seager looks at a strike.
Always easier to work that clubhouse after a win than a loss, but I'm sure Trevor will turn in some stellar work today.
The moods are definitely better in the clubhouse following a victory. Interviews a little bit easier to get. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Strike 2 on Seager.
Everything's a little bit better.
Yep.
Music's a little bit louder, the food, the beverages, and it tastes a little bit better. And the plane ride doesn't seem as long.
Tigers still have 3 outs to work with, though, and they're going to have Kinsler, Cabrera, Martinez in the 9th. Here's the 0-2. Seager 1 out of 3, had a single in his last at bat. 4-hit series for Seager, including a home run off Verlander in Game 1. Zunino waiting on deck. Low and in, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Really interested to see what that Toronto team looks like when the Tigers get back home beginning on Tuesday night.
Well, good pitching always stops good hitting. And Anibal Sanchez will get the ball on Tuesday. And if he does anything close to what he did in his last outing against Oakland, it's going to be a long night for the Toronto Blue Jays.
Ripped to right field, another base hit for Kyle Seager. His 2nd hit today. Here's what that series looks like. Sanchez, Porcello, and Verlander.
They get the knuckleballer, R.A. Dickey, in the 2nd game of the series.
And they miss Mark Burley. That's good news. Liam Hendricks, Jay Happ, the other 2 pitchers for the Blue Jays, who were 21-9 in the month of May. It's going to be it for Phil Cope. Tigers make another pitching change with 1 on, 1 out here in the 8th inning. As they do, it's a wall-side windows pitching change. We'll be back. Have gone back to the bullpen with 1 on, 1 out here in the 8th, and it's a young right-hander, the rookie Corey Knebel.
And Knebel, we've seen him a couple of times, even though the ERA is up around 9. And very impressed with the arm strength. The fastball goes anywhere from 94 to 96 miles an hour.
A rapid rise to the big leagues for Corey Knebel, who was drafted just last season. And so the right-hander will face Mike Zunino here with 1 on, 1 out. Tigers down 4 here in the 8th. Zunino is 0 for 3, bounced into a double play. That was in his last at bat. He's also struck out and flied out. swinging on the first pitch. In the air to straightaway center. Routine play for Jackson. One pitch, one out for Knebel. Second out of the inning. Now Dustin Ackley. Ackley a single and a steal in this game, 1 for 3. Knebel had really good numbers this year in the minor leagues, opening up some eyes, and that's why he got here so quickly. Tigers needing some help with the bullpen. He was in Double-A Erie to start the year. Had an ERA of 1.20 there.
Well, just like Elias, who started for the Mariners today, really impressed Lloyd McClendon in spring training. Knebel did the same thing for Brad Ausmus.
Chopper, that's going to go foul.
We told you earlier in the game that usually managers will not judge the performance of a young kid in September if he gets called up or during the course of spring training. It's during the grueling regular season that they usually judge the kids, but every now and then a young kid makes a nice impression on you. If you have an opportunity to add them to your roster, you call them up to see what they can do.
He's gotten ahead 0-2 on Dustin Ackley. Off the plate, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Remember having a conversation with David Chad, who is the director of pro scouting for the Tigers and also works hand in hand with Dave Dombrowski. Said, you're going to see this kid Knebel really, really soon. And he told us that in spring training.
And here he is, 2 months into the season. 1-2 pitch. See you later. Ackley is out of there, and Knebel comes on, gets 2 quick outs. That's it for Seattle in the 8th, which means we go to the 9th. Tigers trying to get the bats going, and they will have some artillery coming up, including Miguel Cabrera, who will bat second when we go to the 9th. The particulars in this one, 4-0 in favor of Seattle. They've out-hit the Tigers today 11-3, and now we'll see if they can get something going here as Elias goes out to try and finish this one off.
Elias has shown flashes of brilliance this year in a lot of his outings, but he really has never been able to put it together like he's been able to do today against Detroit, from the first pitch he's thrown to the 103rd pitch he's thrown.
1 ball, 1 strike on Ian Kinsler. It'll be Kinsler, Cabrera, and then Martinez in the 9th.
If anybody gets on, Lloyd McClendon will simply go to his bullpen to bring in his closer, Fernando Rodney.
1-2. Rodney has been heating up.
Yeah, he's ready. But Lloyd going to give the rookie an opportunity to finish this one.
Yeah, he's been able to earn this opportunity because his pitch count has been in good shape most of the afternoon. Just recently crossed over 100 pitches. And a foul tip, and he couldn't hold on. 1-2 on Kinsler. Fly ball, a ground out, and a strikeout today for Ian.
Well, if he's going to get it, he's going to have to go through 3 of the hottest hitters in the month of May. Kinsler, Miggy, and Victor Martinez, of course. The calendar did turn today. It's June 1st now.
Jammed him there, and it's rolled foul. Well, Kinsler hit .331 in May. Martinez hit .372, and Miggy hit .380.
So he's going to earn this one.
Here's the 1-2. High fly ball, right center field. Gillespie and Saunders. It's the center fielder Saunders. 1 out. Now Cabrera. The Tigers' offense today has consisted of 3 singles, 1 walk, and 1 hit batter.
Tigers really have not even hit balls hard today for outs.
And Elias has 8 strikeouts. 0-1 on Cabrera.
We heard that he wasn't afraid and that he would attack the Tigers today. And he has done just that. And Tigers have good numbers against left-handed starters this year.
Well, they got a leadoff walk from Martinez in the 2nd. They got him as far as second base, and that is the only guy they've gotten into scoring position.
How about that last pitch he just threw at 95? That is the hardest fastball he has thrown today, and we're 109 pitches in.
Little chopper back up the middle. Charging on the plate, Bloomquist. 2 gone.
What can you say? It's his day.
Well, and it's not like he was highly thought of, or so many teams were lining up to get this guy like they have for other Cuban players as you look at his breakdown.
He wasn't even in the top 30
he wasn't.
Prospects in their organization when the year began.
And he wasn't even on the radar when he was in Cuba as well.
He wasn't even in their top 30.
2 gone. Here's Victor Martinez. Crowd to its feet right now. Victor skies one in the air to center, and this is going to do it.
Yep, he did.
It's going to be a complete game shutout for Roenis Elias.
Very impressive.
You cannot be any more impressive than this young man was today. His first complete game. It's a shutout in his 12th career start. And he just knifed right through Kinsler, Cabrera, and Martinez. 3 of the top hitters in the Tigers lineup here in the 9th inning. What a day for the left-hander Elias. Seattle wins 2 out of 3. We'll be back.